Discovering the pulse of money and trends. The economic calendar is set to be quiet this week, but there are still some important events that investors need to be aware of. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates last week, and Friday saw an unexpectedly strong U.S. non-farm payrolls report. Earnings season is continuing, with media and consumer stocks in the spotlight. The Reserve Bank of Australia is expected to raise rates again, and data from the Eurozone and the UK will also be closely watched. Investors will be paying close attention to a speech by Fed Chair Jerome Powell on Tuesday, after Friday's strong U.S. jobs report raised questions about the Fed's hawkish stance on inflation. There is some concern that the Fed's aggressive rate hikes could cause a recession. Other Fed officials, including New York Fed President John Williams, Minneapolis Fed President Neel Kashkari, and Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic, will also be making appearances this week. Earnings season continues, with media and consumer industry stocks reporting this week. Companies such as Walt Disney, News Corp, The New York Times, PepsiCo, and Kellogg will be reporting and offering insight into how consumers are dealing with inflation. S&P 500 earnings are expected to have declined 2.4% in the fourth quarter from a year ago, a steeper drop than previously predicted. The Reserve Bank of Australia is expected to raise interest rates again this week, due to surging inflation. The Reserve Bank of India is also expected to raise rates, and the Eurozone will be closely watched, with comments from ECB officials expected and inflation data from Germany due. The UK is set to release GDP data on Friday, which is expected to show that the economy has flatlined, narrowly avoiding a recession. The Bank of England raised rates for the 10th time last week, but said that the tide was turning in its battle against inflation. To wrap up the video, here are some actionable tips for you. 1. Stay informed about the economic calendar and key events, such as the Fed Chair's speech, earnings season, and central bank meetings. 2. Pay attention to the U.S. labor market, with updates on initial jobless claims and other data. 3. Keep an eye on consumer industry stocks, as they can offer insight into how consumers are dealing with inflation. 4. Consider the impact of central bank actions on the economy, including rate hikes and other monetary policy decisions. 5. Stay informed about the economic outlook in key countries and regions, such as the Eurozone, the UK, and Australia. 6. Consider the impact of global events, such as the energy crisis and Brexit, on the economy. 7. Be prepared for changes in the stock market and adjust your portfolio accordingly. 8. Take a long-term view of the economy and make investment decisions based on your goals and risk tolerance. Stay ahead of the game with every subscribe.